We have all heard about the bad rap of pit bulls, but what if I could tell you they're not all bad? Because they're not. And I will give you examples here in a minute on how things can affect how they are. I own a pit bull. So that's my credibility because I own him and I can train him. And he is awesome. So let's talk about breeding, how breeding affects how they act. And then secondly, we will talk about how training them can help the way they act. Lastly, we'll talk about how they make great pets. So let's get started. Okay, first we're going to talk about how bad breeders and good breeders and how to tell them the difference. First off, bad breeders, if you see them and if you go to get a puppy from them, more than likely you'll only see one parent because the other one they've probably have put up because it either has people aggression or other animal aggression. And so that's the first sign that there's going to be a genetic problem. The second sign of a bad breeder is how they're kept. If it looks like it could be some type of puppy mill, then more than likely it is. And secondly, we're going to talk about good breeders. If they are reputable breeders, they're going to be more than likely kept in their house. You're going to see both parents, and they will be more open on problems that the parents have or that they have with the puppies. So that is going to be a good breeder. So how you tell the difference is by those things that I just mentioned. If it's a bad breeder, you're not going to see both parents. If it's a good breeder, more than likely you will. And the way they're kept. That is going to tell you if it's a good or a bad breeder. Next, we're going to talk about how to train one. First, you want to start out with showing it love, because if you show them love, that's all they're going to show you back. And then start teaching them some basic commands like sit, lay down, roll over. And most of the time, you can start training them by either using treats or toys that are their favorite toys. And you will see that that helps. They can also be trained to be protective. Because just like a German Shepherd or a Rottweiler or a Doberman Pinscher, they can all be trained to be protective if that's what you want them used for. And they will protect. Lastly, we're going to talk about how they make great family pets. They are very loyal, they will protect the family, and they are good with kids if they are raised with them. And that also goes back to genetics. Like I said, if a bad breeder, they may not be good with kids. So you always have to take in consideration if it's a good breeder or a bad breeder or the genetics. So, I think they make great family pets because they are awesome around kids. And when they were first bred, they were meant to be a nanny dog. But then people were like, they thought how good the breed looked and how muscular they were, so they started breeding them for fighting. And that's just not how you breed a dog. That is also a bad breeder because they are not actually meant for fighting dogs, even though that's what you hear about now. In conclusion, we have already talked about how breeding can affect the way they act. Secondly, we've talked about how to train them. Thirdly, we've talked about how they make great family pets. Now that you know more about the breed, you'll be able to successfully get one if that is the right animal for you. Also, if you want to learn a little more about the breed than this presentation, you can also watch a show that's called Pit Bulls and Pearlies, and it's a rescue for pit bulls, and they go into detail more than this presentation has about pit bulls. And so now that you know all this information, hopefully you will look at the breed differently and know that it's not just the breed. It is either genetics or it's the way they're bred to make them mean or aggressive. Thank you, and that will be all.